Hey everyone, my name is Chris Fattel, and I'd like to welcome you to our shiny new online section of History of Rock and R&B. Now, I'd like to take about 5 minutes or so and talk about the class, tell you a little bit about myself, and finally let you know what the next step is as far as getting you further oriented within your new online class environment. Now, I don't know how many of y'all have previously taken or are currently taking online classes. Obviously, they're quite a bit different from face-to-face classes. Not that they're better or worse. I think they both have advantages and disadvantages. Of course, the one great disadvantage of online classes is that we're deprived of the benefit of being able to communicate in a spontaneous way because we're all sitting in a classroom together. But have no fear. It is my intention with this class to create an environment that approximates, as close as we can, the spontaneous quality of a face-to-face class environment. So you will definitely be hearing this voice and you will definitely be seeing this face quite a bit during the course of the semester. And I look forward to seeing your faces and hearing your voices through a series of video conferenced office hour meetings. Now, we have a lot of material to cover. This is a really dense story, the story of American popular music, and we don't have a lot of time in which to cover it. We only have about 10 weeks. So how are we going to move in a timely way, but in an effective and productive way through all this material? 2 words: presence and communication. So by presence, I mean your active, engaged participation in this class. I'm going to need you on a daily basis to check in with the Canvas homepage for our class and make sure that there aren't any new messages or assignments or reminders or anything like that. Okay, so I really need you to be on point with your involvement in this class. That's the presence part. As far as communication goes, we really need to be on top of our communication skills, both you and I. So anything we have to do in this class, assignments, discussion thread posts, answering messages, emails, all that stuff, we have to do it, both you and I, in a timely way. And if we do this, we're going to make it through this class, no problem, and we're actually going to have fun in the process. Imagine that. So, now let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up on the North Shore of Long Island in New York in a little town called Oyster Bay, which was the hometown of Billy Joel and Teddy Roosevelt. And it was pretty cool. Back in the day when I was in high school, we used to see Billy Joel around town quite a bit. Not Teddy Roosevelt so much. Don't know why. But it was always my dream, ever since I was a teenager, of being a rock star, as most kids were growing up on Long Island at that time. And I was in a bunch of garage bands in high school, and then I went away to college upstate New York to a state school, and I joined a band up there. And we were a pretty happening band. We were playing in all the bars and clubs, and we developed a nice little following up there. So after a few months of that, I decided I want to go take voice lessons. So I approached the voice teacher in the music department and asked him about taking voice lessons because I wanted to improve my rock and roll singing, of course. So I sang for him, and he liked my voice, and he said, "Sure, I'm happy to give you lessons, but I'm going to need you to join the opera studio." I thought, okay, I don't know anything about opera, but cool, I'm in college, I'm down for a challenge and being exposed to new things. So I got into the opera studio, and I loved it. Immediately, I took to this classical music, and I, over the next few years, became an opera singer. And I lived in Boston for 7 years where I was an opera singer. And then slowly, I moved my way over from opera to musical theater, Broadway musical theater stuff. And that's pretty much the way I've been supporting myself for the last 25 years, either through classical singing or musical theater performance. I still do the occasional rock gigs too. I'll just sit in with friends' bands and stuff, but primarily theater singing now. So about 6 years ago, I moved from New York to the Bay Area. About 5 years ago, I started teaching at DVC, initially teaching performance workshop classes, musical theater and opera, and teaching voice lessons. And then eventually I started teaching history of rock and also music appreciation, which is a classical history of classical music. And I love all of it. So at the risk of sounding cheesy, music is obviously everything to me. Everything I do in my life has something to do with music, whether I'm performing it or teaching it or creating it. So clearly I'm very passionate about music, and obviously you have some degree of passion for music or you wouldn't be taking this class. So I want you to know that my goal by the end of this semester is to have you in a position where you can understand and process music, not just rock, but any music you listen to, any kind of music, that you can process it in a more with a deeper understanding in a more comprehensive way. And along the way, you're going to learn some really cool stuff that you'll be able to dazzle your friends and family with and impress them at Thanksgiving dinner. So that's my hope for this class. Now, to continue, I want you to just look down below this window, and you'll see a button there that says Getting Started, and just click on that, and it'll take you to the next step as far as our orientation process. So that's about it. I'm very excited to get started with our class, and I look forward to meeting you.